Hi friends, it's Peggy Noe from prettypapercards.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you how to create light watercoloring, easy light watercoloring, like I've done here on these adorable little flowers. Most people are afraid of watercoloring. It sounds too scary and they're thinking of a watercolor artist. But we can be watercolor artists ourselves with some of the easy tools that Stampin' Up! Has given us. So today we're going to learn how to do easy light watercoloring. And what we're going to do is the first thing you'll need is shimmery white cardstock. The shimmery white cardstock has a little bit of a sparkle to it. I don't know if you can see that. It is a watercolor paper, but it's called shimmery white, and it's perfect for our uses today. It will absorb the water just the way we want. And the other key to easy light watercoloring is your aqua painter. You can see this, I have very little water in it. I don't need very much for this project. And it has a brush tip, and it screws on, so when you need more water, you unscrew the lid and just put more water. So the first thing we're going to do today, we're going to use the Pop of Petals stamp set by Stampin' Up! Clear Mount Pop of Petals stamp set. And we're also going to use the coordinating 4-petal flower punch, which is a great punch to use to easily cut your petals out, your little flower petals. I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape ink, and the first thing to do is we're just going to stamp our flowers right on this shimmery white cardstock. And I'm going to do 3 of them. Okay, now we get to go back in with the aqua painter. And actually, I remember I was going to have this open just to use a little bit of water to actually get rid of some water. You can see I've been practicing. So with your aqua painter, you're going to want to get the tip wet. So you may have to squeeze here and squeeze a little bit just to get a little bit to come out on your brush. There we go. That's a drop. Now I know the brush tip is wet, and I really don't want it too wet. So as long as I know it's wet, I'm going to brush a little bit off. And the secret here is to be very light. That's why I call it light. We're just going to go in and gently, going with the lines of the stamped image, we're just going to add a tiny bit of water. Now I want you to know I am not pressing, I'm not squeezing one bit. The only time I squeezed was over here to get water to come to the tip. And now we just barely touch. I just have a very light touch. I'm going with the direction of the stamped image. And all this is doing is bringing a little bit of the color into the center of the petals so that they have a more vibrant look, I think. And so we're just going to do that, trying not to cross the boundary lines within the image, because otherwise that would make it really too blended, and that's not what we want. So we're going to go on and do all 3 flowers. It just takes a second. I'm not squeezing out any additional water in between. None at all. Just like this. And for this reason, it's going to dry very quickly because we're not doing any heavy watercoloring. And you see that water just is coming out. Whoops, I got out just a tad there. I have to tell myself not to squeeze, because when you have something like this, you kind of want to. And all we're doing is pulling that color into the center. Isn't it giving a really nice shade compared to what it was? There's places for both, but for our card today, this is what we want to do. And I like these center tips here that are darker, and when we pull that color in, I think it gives a real nice look. Okay, that's it, all done. Put our lid on and close up our ink pad, and we're completely done. Now all we need to do is let it dry for a second, and then we're going to punch it out. And while we let it dry, I'm going to show you the mistakes that I made. When I started here, I had too much water on my brush. And you can see, look at how that dried. It's way too blended, and that wouldn't look good on our card at all, would it? It's just kind of a mush. Here, more water had come off, dried rather, or been used here, and so that looked a little better, but I still wasn't satisfied. These two were the best, and I saved that to show you that if you get too much water on your brush, this is what happens for this type of watercoloring. All right, now we're going to see if this is dry. At least I think the first one is. And we're going to go in. I see that I need to tip this upside down for it to fit within the punch. And I'm just going to slide that in the punch like that and punch out one of our darling little flowers. Okay, and let's punch another one. I'll just punch two out to show you how I did this. Okay, there you have your watercolored flowers. And what I did, I used my trusty leaf punch. For those of you who watch very many of my videos or go on my blog, you know that I love the leaf punch. I use it as much as I can. So to create the flowers, all I did is I put one, I tucked it underneath the circle. That's the stitched shapes circle. And I tucked it under using a dimensional, and then I used a second dimensional and put a second one at an angle on top. And one thing I did is I just kind of started pulling these petals on each side. I just started kind of pulling them in just to give a little bit more of a 3D effect. And I tucked the punch leaves in. And I can see I got a little bit of ink on my fingers. I try not to, but of course we all do. So that's our card for today. The details are underneath the video. All the links to the products are there. And from now on, you're going to know how to do a quick and easy light watercolored flower. So thank you so much for stopping by today. I hope that you will go on over to my follow the links and go on over to my Stampin' Up! Online store. It's open 24/7, and see what you like over there. We have fabulous things. So until next time, this is Peggy from PrettyPaperCards.com. Thanks so much for watching.